It's a constant struggle.
So, all right. Now, what we're going to do today is I have right here, you'll see it up there, Ron. Let me get my IGVGA going here, my little high-tech device for you folks to not be able to see what we're doing. Okay, can you come to my screen? What we're doing, Tom Trento, 3:41 on the 21st of March. It is 72 degrees where we are. Beautiful, beautiful day. Next few days are going to be wonderful. 70s, 80s. Come on down, everybody living up in New Jersey, New York. But Sunday we may have a little bit of rain for you. And there we go. This is the website for Heritage Study Programs. Tell everybody what Heritage is, Ron, and then we'll get into the details.
Heritage Study Program was a company that I started.
You got to get right on this mic.
In order to educate, actually. So what we did was giving a study program to people in churches throughout the United States. I taught, many other people taught, and those were 12 classes, and the last 3 were in Israel. So we taught pastors how to teach the program, the Heritage Study Programs, which is basically Israel, biblical Israel. And then the last portion of the study program was on location in Israel. The program gave also 9 credit, graduate and undergraduate, to those who wished to use it as such. And many, many universities in the United States became a part of it, as well as the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. Slowly through the years, the name Heritage Study Program became known throughout North America and Canada, and many, many people started to arrive. In fact, we used to have a jumbo jet every month go to Israel, and in high season, even more than that. So it's a great program, and the uniqueness of it is not only the study program before the trip, but it's a study program on or while the trip is on in Israel. There's places that we actually come together, and we have teachers on location that teach us Bible and history, where things actually took place. Not only that, but sometimes we even have reenactments, theatrical reenactments on location, where people are looking at biblical accords and see a cast on location, such as the Sea of Galilee, such as the wheat fields of Bethlehem. Bethlehem is the house of wheat. We actually take people there, and we teach and we dramatize. And when you go to Israel on a Heritage Study Program, is not like any other trip available in the marketplace. Now, I know that many people who are listening today must have been to Israel before. So I'd like to reiterate that every trip is a good trip. I haven't seen one person come back from Israel and say, I didn't have a good time. Everybody has a good time. But it doesn't matter how many times you've been to Israel before. When you come on a Heritage Study Program, such as the one we're offering now with Tom Trento, with Frank Gaffney, with Bill Federer, with Bill Murray, they're all great teachers. We are not going to only use them as teachers, but almost every night we're going to meet in Israel with high caliber speakers, some from the Knesset, government, some from the army, some of the intelligence community, and we are going to get to understand what Israel is all about. I like to call it understanding Israel from a Bible prophecies point of view. So when you come back, or when you are on a trip, it's like you've never been to Israel before, because what you see is something that was not available to you before. And I highly recommend that you come to Israel, you see what Israel is all about, and especially now when the focus is on Israel. I saw in the last 2 days nothing but the Obama trip in Israel, and as Tom said before, it looks like Netanyahu and Obama on the honeymoon. Well, thank God, there's no same-sex marriage in Israel, so
Yeah.
I doubt that they're on honeymoon, and I don't know how long it's going to last. But right now, there's a euphoric feeling in Israel. I don't know how many people found out, but Arabs from the Gaza Strip reminded us today with a few rockets as Obama is visiting Israel. So I really would like to take people to Israel to show them what this is all about. You get to understand Israel from a point of view that you never knew existed on trips to Israel. Just to mention one, we're going to be actually going into the Knesset, and we're going to be a part of one of the committees there. And we're going to see how it works. So talk about having democracy in the Middle East. This is the epitome of all democracies. And I would like to show how Israel functions. And then show the risks in Israel and show what's happening. I listened to a reporter yesterday on one of the television networks, and he said Israel is celebrating now a whole year that was not one incident of terror. Nobody got hurt in Israel through terror attacks from the West Bank. And this is not by chance. Israel made sure that there couldn't be any terrorist attacks from the West Bank. And when we are there, I would like to take you to the separating wall and show you why this is, in fact, such a successful undertaking by Israel, despite the fact that the entire world is telling us that we're doing something which is wrong. No, we're not doing anything that's wrong. Because if we, in a whole year, didn't have one casualty in Israel, then we haven't got anything wrong here. It's nothing but success. I would like to take you through the security wall, through the dividing wall, and show you what would have happened if that wall wasn't there. To show you how small Israel between the West Bank and the Mediterranean. To show you that when you land, or when Obama landed yesterday in Ben Gurion Airport, if there was no security wall, if there was no control of Israel over that part of the West Bank, the security of Air Force One could not have been guaranteed.
He could not have landed.
Could not have been guaranteed.
Yep. He would have had to land where?
And I don't know where, but it could not have been guaranteed.
On an aircraft
And-
carrier
aircraft
and a
carrier,
med,
and
and then
then
they'd have to take
helicoptered
him
in.
in by boat.
Yep.
And when President Obama
Yep.
took his helicopters, there were more helicopters there than I saw during the whole war. When he took his helicopters to Jerusalem, he passed by a narrow alley that was Israeli territory before the 6 Days War. I don't think that we would like to see that situation come again. Now today we control the airways in Israel and the skies. We can travel safely. We can have helicopters come from the airport to Jerusalem, and we certainly can have, I think it's today about 300 flights a day that land in Tel Aviv in an area that's a little bit less than 5 miles from the border. So, you know, we need to keep it. But the only way for me to explain and to understand, and for you to understand what's going on, is to actually bring you there on location. And instead of just having the regular tour and going to the holy site and visiting synagogues and have the dog and pony show, really take you to the security issues of Israel, introduce you to those who are in charge, and show you what Israel is all about.
I got a question. You mentioned you said we're going to be doing presentations, and Tom, does this mean work? I thought this was a vacation. I thought this was just like a tour of Israel. We're not going to be just eating matzo balls the whole time and drinking wine.
We're going to have more fun than you can imagine.
More
But
fun
at the
than a
same
barrel
time as
of,
we're having fun, we're going to be educated.
We're going to have more fun than a barrel of pigs and apes can ever have.
That's right.
That's
no,
right.
no pigs in Israel.
Okay. No
Yeah.
apes. All right. Well, let's do this. Let's go to my screen, and we're gonna. This is going to be a very interesting show because we're going to weave in the trip in September, October, with Obama there today, and Roni. Roni Wexler, Wexler. Roni Wexler is our special guest. And he's the host of these tours. Roni was born in Israel, fought in the IDF, several wars, all of that. Has dual citizenship, lives in Israel, lives in the United States, goes back and forth monthly. So there's very few people as highly qualified as Roni, from being born there, living there, fighting there, and then teaching there for 30 years. Now look at the team he's assembled to go. And I got to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. Come over here for a second, Mike. I got to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you know my background. I trained in theology and law enforcement and all that. But early on, when I became a Christian, a born-again Christian, Israel took on a whole new meaning to me. It just wasn't some crazy place out in the Middle East with a bunch of people fighting each other. It was really the center of the universe. And I wanted to go to Israel from the early days of becoming a Christian. But I was never able to for 20, 25 years, either being in school, having no money, or there were wars there, and, do I want to go right now or not? And just life takes over. Well, I went finally last year. The United West went on a tour through the good graces of a couple of donors, helped put some money together. And we had some folks come. We had about 10 of us. Went with Mark Kohlberg, who will be part of this, I believe, right? Mark Kohlberg, and former IDF, former national policeman, and now a security consultant. He was our host there. And Mark went, Mike went, three of us in here went. Was that a trip of a lifetime or what?
It was fantastic. Yeah. Actually, I was very, very nervous before I went. I was scared. I was worried about, bombs or getting hit by a rocket and everything like that. But I am so glad I went. And the fears all went away as soon as you stepped off the plane. Oh, yeah. And, any type of apprehension that you have, it really does go away.
Yeah, so. In terms of the safety, it's a very, very safe place. And when the missiles are flying, the missiles are flying. You're going to bomb shelter, right? Mike, what did you think of the whole deal?
I liked it there.
What was one of your memorable moments?
Like.
One of the waitresses in Tel Aviv. I don't know. Yeah, the entire place was fantastic.
Are you saying, you got to talk closer to the mic. Are you saying the Israeli women are attractive?
Yeah, they are.
Very, very
carrying M4s. Does that add?
That was very cool.
Add to the allure.
I'm right next to it.
There you go. You got these mics are very sensitive. You got to get close to them. You got to kiss them.
Okay.
I'm all over it like this.
Yeah.
Don't touch my mic here. I'm getting very close to my mic. All right. So it was a phenomenal trip. And I know, look, and all of us, we did get some help from donors, but we did have to raise our own money too. The donors didn't cover the whole trip for everybody, so we had to go out, figure out ways of raising money. And God provides, I'll just tell you that. But start now. You got to go to Israel at least once in your life if you have not been there. And if you've been there, you got to come with us because this is going to be cool. Go back to my screen, Mike. Look at the. If you're a serious Jewish person or a serious Christian person, look at the assembly of people we have here. I don't know what that is. Yes. That's not my screen.
Yep, sorry.
There we go. This is a Heritage Study Program presents, look at the top, I'm reading it, a fact-finding expedition to Israel focusing on the region's security, defense, and intelligence. So as much as we will deal with some of the biblical history. This is for those of you interested in the geopolitical elements, if you're concerned about Obama being there this week, watch this trip. Frank Gaffney to the left, you can see his little block there. And for those of you who are listening who don't know who Frank Gaffney is, we've spoken of him often, and I can't believe it's the end of the first hour. I just looked at the clock. This is amazing. We're having such a good time. We got to go right now. We're going to come back. We're going to pick. You can stay for the whole thing, right? You could. We'll have in our next hour. We'll have a little special libation for you. Okay.
He'll stay.
Okay, he'll stay. All right, we'll be right back, folks. We're taking a short break. We'll be right back. Tom Trento, TrentoVision. See you in a few minutes. I had no idea it was 3:55. Yeah, we're going to work our way through.
Well, the key, Tom.
of historic proportions. Well, Bill Langfan today, through his life experiences, believes that President Obama's trip to Israel in March 2013 historic proportions may also be Bill Langfan a meeting today, through his life experiences, believes that President Obama's trip to Israel in March 2013 historic proportions may also be.
What are your primary concerns about President Obama's trip in March 2013?
That Israel should return to 1967 borders.
What are your primary concerns about President Obama's trip in March 2013?
To the Middle East, Israel should return to 1967.
We believe the borders of Israel and Palestine should be based on the 1967 lines with mutually agreed swaps.
All right, well, what do you think the worst case
We believe the borders of Israel and Palestine should be based on the 1967 lines with mutually agreed swaps.
All that we have to do
what do you think the worst case
We believe the borders
take
of Israel and
Gaza
Palestine should be based
and multiply it by many fold that we have to do, and we can readily envision what will happen. For example, by many fold can start shooting missiles from right next to Israel proper. For example, their airports would be vulnerable 24 hours a day. The airports for their planes would become unusable with streams of missiles falling there. How are planes going to take off? How are pilots going to get to the plane? Become unusable with streams of missiles falling there. How are planes going to take off? How are pilots going to get to the plane? Become unusable. This is what troubles me, and the idea of going back to 67 when the Palestinians expressed themselves in their charter 3 years before Israel had the West Bank. They specifically stated unequivocally in their 29-clause charter that the establishment of Israel is illegal and void, and that they were going to engage in armed resistance until Israel was destroyed. Illegal and void.
Do you really remember
1938 resistance until
the meeting in Munich?
Absolutely. I remember very vividly, and I do wish that I could remember today things that happened yesterday the way I remember things of long ago. I was arguing very vociferously yesterday the way I remember Hitler has violated Versailles. He has violated almost any human that Hitler has violated pertaining to Jews. How could anybody reasonably expect a man of this type to adhere to any type of agreement? How could anybody reasonably
So how'd you go from a teenager arguing against Hitler to finding yourself in the United States Army as one of the liberators at Buchenwald Nazi? So how'd you go from a teenager arguing
I was at university,
to finding yourself in the United
and
States
on
Army
December
as
7,
one of the liberators at
1941,
Nazi? How'd you go from a teenager
everything changed very, very dramatically.
finding yourself in the United States Army?
I went through basic training, and the next thing you know, I was in the Navy. And we stayed there for a while. I went through basic training, and all of a sudden, buzz bombs started coming over, and we were in the anti-aircraft for a while, part of the Army, and we were shooting against buzz bombs. and it was quite an experience. Then we were on our way to Normandy, and we landed around San Lo, which was Omaha beachhead. We were on our way to Normandy. We still had not broken out of the hedgerows, and a few days after we landed at Normandy, we broke out of the hedgerows and started moving through France very, very quickly. We were with Patton's army. And before we know it, we were in Belgium, and we were in the middle of the Battle of the Bulge at Bastogne. And before we know it, we were in Belgium, and we were in the middle of the Battle of the Bulge at Bastogne. And then we started going east through Germany. And all of a sudden, one day, we wound up at Buchenwald. And then we started going. It was something that beyond my imagination. All of a sudden, one day, they told me. We wound up.
It appeared that most of the men and boys had died of starvation. They had not been executed. But the manner of death seemed unimportant. Murder had been done. Most of the men and boys had died of starvation. God alone knows how many men and boys have died there during the last 12 years. The manner of death seemed unimportant. As I left that camp, a Frenchman who used to work for Havas in Paris came up to me and said, "You will write something about this. How many men and boys have died there during the last 12 years? To write about this, you must have been here at least 2 years." And after that, you don't want to write anymore. To write about this.
So you have been
must have been here at least 2 years.
in Buchenwald, in a Nazi death camp. You've seen that horror up close, that evil. What is your comparison between in Munich in 1938 death camp, the appeasement that started this war, and a possible comparison, Munich situation in 2013, when President Obama goes to Israel and to pressure Israel to give a possible land for peace. Munich situation.
I see a similarity, and I feel a similarity in that a major power, the United States, and the European EU are in that pushing Israel into doing something.
Oh, hello, there we go. Can you hear that, Ron? Talk.
Major power is very similar.
There's a video playing in the background right now.
When EU, the Sudan land was given to Hitler, pushing Israel into this situation.
Nope.
I got it. Let me put.
Major power,
Okay.
U.S.
Still playing.
and the EU
Oh, hello, here
are
we go.
trying to do exactly the same thing. And experience
There's a video playing in the
with
background
the
right now.
Palestinians indicates that they will do the same thing that Hitler did.
Nope.
From 3 to 6 p.m.
I-
AM 1470 WNN and TrentoVision.tv. Now, let's get a peek at Tom's view of the world. Here's Tom Trento.
Is this me now? This is
You're
really
on.
me?
You're on. You're live. You're
Okay.
live.
Okay.
You're live.
We have some new guys at the board.
And that's all right. Don't worry.
That's all right. They're learning. And we're trying to teach you cryptology, audio cryptology. So hello, everybody. Tom Trento back on TrentoVision.tv. 7 minutes after 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a beautiful Thursday. 7 minutes after 1 o'clock if you're in California, or if you're in Israel. What time is it, Ron? You have your Israeli watch on?
10:07.
10:07, 10 o'clock at night. What's going on right now on the beach in Tel Aviv, that boardwalk area? Right now, 10:07. If you and I can go there in 1 second, what's happening?
10:07 on Thursday will be the day to be.
Oh, really?
That's it. That's the beginning of the weekend, and everybody is there. All the restaurants will be filled to capacity, and all the bars and all the clubs and everything else, and people would be walking. It would be like a parade, and weather is excellent. We actually have restaurants on the sand.
Yeah, I've been in them.
You can order fish sitting in the sand, and the restaurant would come to the sea and serve you. You can sit with a bathing suit and take a dip in the water as you eat. It's a city that never goes to sleep. So that's
Tel
the
Aviv,
slogan
yeah.
of Jerusalem, of Tel Aviv.
And when you're sitting there, you're looking at a vast ocean, the Mediterranean Sea, not the Atlantic or the Pacific, which is cool, but you're looking at a sea, and you're sitting on land that for 6,000 years has figured in a central way in some fashion worldwide. And the three great religions, I don't say that, the two great religions and the phony religion root themselves. How does Islam root itself in?
We'll give it 10%, Tom.
How does it root itself
10%.
in Israel? What does it have to do with Israel?
Muhammad's horse left there in a...
That's a fake story.
Well, no, it's
The
a true
horse
story,
thing. Oh.
Tom. It's a true story. And if
Well,
you
we
deny-
have an authority with us. Is it a true story or fake story?
True story.
The horse flying at
Jerusalem,
night?
very important to the Muslims. Very important.
Where can I find the word Jerusalem in the Quran?
Well, we don't really call it Jerusalem in the book.
Zabkutrik.
But very important. That's why
Well, who owns the land today?
Well, it is somewhat in dispute, but if you ask John Brennan, it is Al-Quds. It is ours.
John Brennan, who happens to be the head of the CIA.
Yes,
Al-Quds. Yes. Ronnie, I don't know if you saw the president's view of the geography of Israel. Did you see the map that they put out, the White House?
No.
Okay, we're going to show you that in a second. But right now, we're going to get back, folks. What we're doing today, we in our first hour, we took a quick look at some issues going on around the world. We're going to update you in the next hour, University of Central Florida. Situation there. They're starting to show the weapons that this guy had, James Sivakumaran. And we also spoke a little bit about another James Holmes. He found Jesus. He got religion, except this ain't Christianity. He found Islam. He got Muhammad.
He found Allah.
And as a result of converting in prison to Islam a couple of days ago, James Holmes feels that he has been vindicated of his sins, of his crimes, because Islam has provided a contextual template for him to understand that when he walked into that movie theater in Aurora with his head painted red like the Joker, and he pulled out a bunch of guns and killed scores of people and wounded 50 or 60. Just a few months back, James Holmes in Aurora, Colorado, when he did that, Islam has taught him in prison that he had a personal jihad against infidels. And what he did was kill infidels watching a movie, and that he's now vindicated for his sins, his crimes, through acceptance of the truth of Allah as told by Gabriel to Muhammad. So he had a prison conversion. We'll tell you a little bit more about that later. And we told you that Florida Atlantic University, the ongoing saga, symbolic of problems all over the United States with Islamic Jihad ideology, present and relevant on the campus, doing a little damage control. The Florida Atlantic University leaders sent a letter to the donors saying, please keep giving us money. Please don't listen to these guys that are saying all this nasty stuff about Islamic Jihad on campus, and that we, Florida Atlantic University, is an anti-Semitic school. Please don't say that. So we'll go through their letter later. If we don't get through all of it later, because we want to maximize Ronnie's time here, we'll camp on it a bit tomorrow. But right now, the purpose of this show at 12 minutes past 4 o'clock is to persuade through the presentation of material, our listeners to come on this trip with us. We're going to persuade you by it being cost effective. It's not cheap. Nowadays, $100 isn't cheap, but $2,000, $3,000. This is a lot of money. We understand, but where there's a will, there's a way. You can do what many of my Christian friends do. They go to their friends and say, "Look, can you help me out?" And Ron, we can discuss. The United West is a nonprofit organization. People can actually donate money to us, get tax deductions.
And we really mean non-profit.
Non-profit, yes.
I mean, there is no profit. Trust me.
Well, it's tax exempt too, which means if somebody donates $1,000 or $2,000, they get a deduction on their taxes. We then could sponsor a small group and bring a group educationally, and a group of people. We'll talk about how all of that would work, and there may be a tax benefit for people going through the United West, and then the United West pays you the money, and we have our own little team coming on. That may be a way to help offset some of the cost, but not only the cost. The people that you're gonna be on this trip with. Let me ask you this, Ron. Frank Gaffney, Bill Federer, and we're going to go through their backgrounds. Is this like a kind of trip where the headliners, like the rock stars, are in, they're in a different hotel, and they'll pass by the people and throw some crumbs from the table, or is everybody all together all the time?
Not only that, they're not staying in different hotels, they're staying with us and they're having breakfasts and dinners and lunches with us. They're also on the buses with us, so we're all the time together, and there's a chance to ask questions. Obviously, we have our own guides in Israel, and we have our own educators in Israel, but these three will be with us all the time, and they'll insert their ideas, their thoughts. They'll teach on location, and especially on the bus. When we are on the bus, there'll be many questions being asked. The guide is not there to teach us anything about current events in Israel. He's there to teach us history and biblically material. But those three, plus myself and others, would touch on the current events, on the political issues in Israel, on the situation with the Palestinians, West Bank, Gaza, the division of the country, the ideas that the Arab nations are giving us, of course, Barack Obama. We'll talk about all these.
Oh, this is going to be cool. Go to my screen, Mike. Let me show you, again, for our viewers. And what we're going to do is, this whole show has been recorded on YouTube, right, Mark?
Net one, Mike.
Do we have the
Net one, Mike.
Do we have the whole show? What is that thing? There we go. Is the whole show on YouTube? Did we archive the whole show?
Yes.
Okay, because we'll send this out and we'll make it available.
It's in 2 parts. It's in 2 parts.
Okay. We'll make it available to people that want to send it to their friends and say, "Hey, watch this show. We want this show to be a teaching show for people to dive into this and make a decision." And one way we're going to do that, take a look at this page on your screens right now on TrentoVision.tv or on Tea Party Community. Tea Party Community? No, we're not on Tea Party Community.
No. Well, there is a.
There's something going on. Okay.
Well, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll replay it for Tea Party Community another time. That's what we'll do, because we have a lot of viewers there. But take a look right here. We got Frank Gaffney on the left, and for you driving in your automobiles, you can listen to this when you get home. You can go to the YouTube/The United West and see exactly what I'm talking about. Frank Gaffney is the founder, president, Center for Security Policy in Washington, D.C. Very few people understand national security issues, whether it's the Soviets, whether it's missile technology, ICBMs, whether it's nuclear deterrence, whether Islamic Jihad, immigration issues. Frank is the definitive expert on the conservative side, which means the realistic side. He worked for President Reagan. I was in Frank's office in Washington the other day,
right,
and saw a young Frank Gaffney with long hair, a beard, walking down with various politicians when he was in the Reagan administration. And Frank got through the Reagan administration. He was the Deputy Secretary of Defense. And and then he started about 20 years ago Center for Security Policy. Frank Gaffney's coming on this trip. If no one else came on the trip, Frank is one of the most deferential, personable individuals there are, a person of his quality, his status. I have done a lot. All of us have done a lot with Frank. I've sat down with Frank scores of times signing Sharia book. And, we'll have 30 people in the line, and I'll get a book, and I'll write something. What's your name? Okay. Frank, here's Frank. What's your name? What's the name of your children? Do you have any grandchildren? Okay. Is there anything you'd like me to tell your grandchildren? I'm going to tell you something, your children something, and your grandchildren. Okay. Any particular concern you may have? I mean, he gets into these long conversations, and he writes a full page for each person. I'm going, Frank, you're slowing down the line. No, And his penmanship is magnificent. He takes time with people. So Frank on this trip, if you, that alone is worth the cost of the trip. But look at the guy right next to him on this page. Come back to me on this page. What we're showing is heritagestudyprograms.com. If you're, you can follow along here, but when the show's over, go to heritagestudyprograms.com. That'll get him there, right? And you can see what we're talking about. William Federer. He is very well known in the evangelical, the Protestant Christian world. He is a nationally known speaker, and he has the 1 minute. What's the name of his 1 minute?
American Minute.
American Minute. Every day he sends out a little note. He's an amazing historian, written extensively on Americana, American history. He's a former U.S. congressional candidate. He's been on Fox and CNN and all the shows. The guy has a wealth of information about America and Israel. He'll be there. And again, I've been in many meetings with Bill Federer, and just a very personable. You've matched personalities quite well.
Right.
Third person, that's one of the headliners, is William Murray. Got a couple of Bills and a
I loved him in Caddyshack.
Yes, Bill Murray's a funny guy.
He was great in Caddyshack.
Oh, wait, this is the other Bill Murray. This is the Bill Murray of Supreme Court decision fame. Bill Murray's mother.
Not as funny, though.
Not as funny. Not as funny. This Bill Murray was raised by Madalyn Murray O'Hair, the head of the American Atheists. She met an unbelievably horrible demise, murdered and all of that stuff. But she brought Bill as the litigant in the 60s to have school prayer. Used to be in schools in the 60s, you'd open with a Pledge of Allegiance, and then someone would read something from the Bible, Psalm 23 or one of the Psalms or whatever. And she thought that was wrong, and her son was the plaintiff. And they prevailed at a Supreme Court level, and it was determined that prayer can no longer be in school. Pretty interesting. You get every perverted sexual organization on campus, but you can't have prayer in the school anymore. So you wonder why America's a mess. Well, he's the chairman of Religious Freedom Coalition in D.C. He became a born-again Christian, very, very serious guy, lover of Israel, been to Israel many, many times, and he is one of the headliners. Then there are the second-rate speakers like me, and a whole bunch of others will look at.
Some also-rans like
I thought you were third-rate.
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 I'm going along for the trip.
Yeah.
I'll say a few things. I'll go, oh, yeah, whatever. Whatever Ronnie says, I believe. You know? But the invitation is there. I'm going to click on this, Ron. Tell us a little bit about this invitation. More information. More information. There we go. An invitation from Frank, Bill, and Bill. They lay out, in conjunction with Ron Wexler and Heritage, we want you to come. The trip incorporates, on location, some advanced Bible information. So it's going to be very good for Jewish and Christian people who want a biblical overview. It's very good for historians, people that want the historical biblical overview, because this is what the battle is over right now. When
Or that little thingy there?
When Ronnie sat down, Mike, when Ronnie sat down,
camera one.
When Ronnie sat down, no, that one's actually, yeah, there it is.
Okay.
When Ronnie sat down, he goes, "Is this a joke? Why do you have this here?" This is the dome,
You can
golden.
zoom in on that if you want to, Michael.
Mosque, not the mosque. It's the Dome of the Rock. See if you can zoom in. Dome of the Rock, and we have this here. I bought this in Jerusalem, and this is what's being fought over. Ron,
Here, we're going to zoom in on it here.
all right, we have this here. We have this here because one of the reasons why the United West, our counterterrorism sister organization, and TrentoVision fight is because of the conflict.
It's awful small.
Between this little thing right
Everything
here.
of that little small thing right there.
The conflict of this little thing and its location, and all of this is in Jerusalem, and it's all rooted in Bible history. This tour we're going on will explain, give everybody like a 2-minute, what's going on with this thing? What is this all about, the Dome of the Rock, and why is it a problem?
The Dome of the Rock is not a mosque. It's a shrine that's was built actually.
You got to get a little closer and
on top of the rock where we believe, where Christians believe, Isaac was going to be sacrificed by Abraham.
Sorry, Ishmael, the Quran says.
Oh, okay. And it is the same rock where Jacob was sleeping on and saw the vision of the angels going up and down from the heavens. It is the place where King David bought for the building of the temple from the Jebusites, and it is the place where his son Solomon built the temple eventually, and that's a Solomonic temple. The very place where this rock is, and now the Dome of the Rock, is also the place which in this particular temple the Holy of Holies was. And the Holy of Holies was the place where the covenant was held, the Ten Commandments, and this was a place where the high priest of Israel once a year used to come in during the holiday of Yom Kippur and atone for the sins of the whole nation. So from a Jewish point of view, this is the holiest place. This is the most incredible place that we know of in Jerusalem. However, the actual mosque,
Wait, Ron, pull out, Mike, the two-shot. All right, so the dirt. This is why you people have to come on this trip. The dirt under this building, Ronnie just laid out, is historic, biblically validated, true facts.
It's holy dirt.
What the hell is this thing doing on top of it? How did this get on top of that dirt?
Well, Muslims, 6th century, started to grow up, and they actually took over very quickly the entire Middle East and North Africa. And Jerusalem was for them pride. You know, they wanted to establish a foothold there. The dream that you mentioned before about the flying horse and having Muhammad taken to different places in his dreams.
In his dreams.
Made Al-Quds, Jerusalem, one of the places that they decided to keep the marking there. But it was never holy, by the way. To my knowledge...
This man lies!
To my knowledge, before the 6 Days War, hardly any pilgrimages used to come to pray in the Temple Mount, meaning Muslim pilgrimages. Were never really known to come. I don't know, aside from the King Abdullah of Jordan, that any head of state ever came to Jerusalem, so it was insignificant. It became significant when it was taken again by the Israelites, by the Israelis, and all of a sudden that became a holy place. And
when 67? You mean?
Quickly.
In 67?
In 67.
Oh.
I was there in 67, and I saw the Israeli flag on top of this.
No way.
On top of this golden dome, and several hours later it was taken down, and I think it was something that we should cry about, because I think Moshe Dayan at the time was the head of the
Find that
security
footage. That's great
forces,
footage.
And,
The
he
Moshe Dayan?
decided
Yeah.
to take the flag out, and lo and behold, the mountain was given back to the Waqf, which is the
Waqf, yep.
Muslim
What do you want to-
organization
I'll
that's
find it.
controlling holy places. And today they decide what goes on in on the mountain. Of course, Israel still has sovereignty over Jerusalem. So if there are any problems, Israeli units come in and disperse situations that become a little bit out of hand. Just 2 weeks ago, there was a situation in the anticipation of Barack Obama's coming to Jerusalem. They decided to demonstrate there. Israeli soldiers.
They were
came in and
demonstrating on that
into the Golden Dome, yeah.
on
into
the
Temple Mount.
What's the platform? What's that called? The platform.
The platform is a Temple Mount.
Temple Mount. Yeah, on the Temple Mount. Right. Right.
So
right.
the Israeli soldiers came in and dispersed the demonstrations. As a matter of fact, if anybody recall, in the year 2000, Ariel Sharon, at that time Minister of, I believe he was Interior Minister, decided to make a point, and he came up to the mountain, and that set up the whole Intifada of 2000. So it is an Israeli territory, but Israel, in its infinite decision, decided to give management of the Temple Mount, which is the holiest place in Jewish history, to the Waqf, which is the Muslim administration in Jerusalem. And when they like it, they allow tourists to come in. When they decide not to, then tourists are not welcome. One of the things that
Have you taken tours up there?
many times.
Is this tour, you think, something that
You
would
see,
go there?
when we go to Jerusalem, we make sure that we visit the place. Of course, when there's a problem with tension, we wouldn't go there in that day.
Right.
But then when it eases off, 2-3 days later, we'll get in and we'll see the places. All the places that we are talking about on the itinerary, and I suggest everybody would go to the website, heritagestudyprograms.com, and go to that specific tour, because there are other tours there, but go to the specific tour, fact-finding mission to Israel, and read the itinerary. It's a fascinating itinerary. And we're going to visit Temple Mount. We're going to be on top of the Mount of Scopus. We're going to be on top of Mount of Olives. We're going to see Jerusalem from around the different mountaintops. We'll walk in the old city of Jerusalem. We are going to visit the different sites in Jerusalem. We will acknowledge how Jerusalem was taken in the '67 war. It's a war that I participated in. We will visit the Ammunition Hill in Jerusalem, which is a fascinating history by part of history by itself. We'll see the Mount Scopus and the Hadassah Hospital that was in the hands of the Jordanian for about 19 years before the 6 Days War. We will see all these places in Israel, and we'll get to understand what makes Israel in such a need to secure the borders. We will actually drive and visit the separating wall. We're going to see places that are divided, that are point of interest to us and controversial. Today, when Obama visited Jerusalem and he went to Ramallah, part of what they try to show him is the separation wall, and to show him how difficult it becomes. I think we see it in the screen now.
Yeah, it's 67, Moshe Dayan. Tell
Everybody
what's going on.
This is actually a fascinating day. This is the third day of the 6 Days War. What you're seeing, those who see the screen now, and this is the paratroopers walking in to the Lion's Gate to Jerusalem. Lion Gate is just a few hundred yards away from the Temple Mount, and what we saw just a minute ago there is this remnant of the temple in Jerusalem. We're seeing now Moshe Dayan and the chief rabbi of Israel, and this is a story of all stories, because the chief rabbi who we see now with a Torah scroll came with a shofar, and in the middle of a war there were still bullets flying. he blew the shofar and declared Jerusalem as the eternal city of the Jewish people, the capital of Israel, 3,000 years old capital of Israel, and it was a glorious day. This was an unbelievable day. I was just a young kid, 19 years old, but I had a machine gun in my hand. I remember those days very, very vividly. And we were part of all this. So seeing what you're seeing now on the screen, those who see and those who don't, we're seeing now actually footage from that third day of the war when Israel entered the old city of Jerusalem. And all Israel was in tune to radio, and they were actually listening to radio messages transmitted between the different units. And then there was an announcement. The Temple Mount is in our hand, and the flag was actually raised on top of the Golden Dome.
Wow, wow. Now, where were you exactly when you heard that? And what did it mean to you?
I actually was on the Mount Scopus, which is right on top of the entire footage that was taken.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Phew.
Abdullah, what kind of a day was it for you?
Terrible, terrible day. Nakba.
I don't think your mic is on. I don't think your mic.
My mic?
Maybe.
This is on. It was the
Nakba.
Nakba.
The Nakba.
Yeah,
right. No, I'm watching that footage. I was watching that footage just now. That is pretty. That must, to me, I was getting chills watching it, just seeing the return of something that God had given, and that was taken away, and that a dilapidated group of people attacked by what, 7 Arab nations? Right. Somehow on day 3 that happened.
They entered to the city, yeah. And the last day, the very, very last day, the Golan Heights was taken. We're going to visit the Golan Heights too. We'll get to understand the Syrian situation, the Lebanon situation. But I want to say something to you. You know, the Bible records 2 real estate transactions.
Right.
One of them was when Abraham's wife Sarah died,
right,
and Abraham was looking for a burial place. And he went to Ephron, the Hittite. The name of the person is mentioned in the Bible. And it says where the field is, in Hebron. And Abram said to the Hittite, to Ephron, I would like to have this land to bury my wife. So Ephron said, take it, it's yours. You're such a great man, take it. Abraham said, no, I want to pay for it. Ephron said, please, you're embarrassing me. Have this land. Abraham said, no, I want you to tell me how much. I would like to pay for it. I'd like to make it proper. So Ephron said, I'll charge you 400 shekel. That was a lot of money. And it was a lot of money. Even the Bible mentions that it was a lot of money. So it says that Abraham handed him 400 shekels of the best type of currency there was, because there was issues about currencies. So he made sure that he gave him the best, and a deed was signed, and Hebron was actually deeded. It was actually registered to be given as a part of the Jewish nation. Abraham bought it before the land was actually divided to the different tribes of Israel, way before. So it was Israeli, or it was Jewish, way before the tribes of Israel came back from Israel. Today it's Hebron. Today is one of the craziest places on earth.
Right.
Today the Palestinians are doing whatever they want there, and they claim it's theirs, and they claim the Jews should be gonna go away. And in 1939 there was a massacre of Jewish people in the city of Hebron, and they were just driven away. The Bible records this place to be Jewish. Abraham bought this to his wife Sarah. Now, another real estate transaction mentioned in the Bible was King David knew that he had to erect a temple for God in Jerusalem, because until then there was a tabernacle outside of the city of Jerusalem, and he felt that it wasn't proper for God to dwell in a tabernacle. So he asked to have a piece of land from the owners of that land, and the reason was that it was a perfect site. So he went to the owners of the land, at that point it was Arvana the Yebusite, another group of people that lived in Israel. That temple, that piece of land was Mount Moriah.
Oh.
It is the first place where, I mentioned before, that Abraham was going to sacrifice Isaac. It's the same place where Jacob had a dream of the angels coming up and down, and it's the same place where Jesus preached to the money changers and was brought into trial in Antonia, which is a part of the Temple Mount.
What?
So David bought this mountain from the hands of the group of the people who lived there, Arvana the Yevusites. There is a deed mentioned in the Bible. He bought it. It became a part of Jewish Jerusalem, and today it's being managed by the Waqf, which is the Muslim organization that controls the holy sites for the Arabs living in the area.
Right.
So how crazy can that be?
I got a quick question for you.
Pretty crazy, yes.
During the capture of the wall that they had, as far as where they liberated parts of Jerusalem, where is that? What is that? What is that wall? Is it actually part of the old temple? Is it part of the city? What actually is that wall?
The Western Wall is really a retaining wall of the temple, of the first temple. Today you can actually go down
It's not the actual wall of the temple.
The retaining wall of the actual temple. So there was an elevation built. There was an elevation built, a plateau, that needed supporting walls. This is a part of the retaining wall to create the plateau of which on top the temple was built.
Oh, okay.
This Dome of the Rock is on top of that plateau, and it's probably about 50 yards inside from the western wall. If you come to the top of the mountain, you will see that wall from above, if you could, and then the Dome of the Rock will be in the center of the mountain. The center of the mountain is where the temple was. It was facing the Mount of Olives. The gate, the actual gate, was from the Mount of Olives, which is east of Jerusalem, is the way the paratroopers actually came to the city in the 6 Days War. And inside that big temple, which was huge, even in today's measurements, in the center of the temple was the Holy of Holies, which is exactly where that monument,
Dome of the Rock,
I don't know how to call it any other way, is erected, and this was there. A Jew will not go there, not because it's not Jewish, because of the holiness of the place.
Holy of Holies, sure, yeah.
Because it's the Holy of Holies. As I mentioned before,
but Obama
the only time anybody used to go inside to the Holies of Holies was on Yom Kippur, and the only person who did it was the high priest in Israel to atone for the sins of the nations.
This is what happens, folks. This is what happens. Where are we? Okay, there we go. This is what happens when you get somebody like Roni in here. This mic's not doing it. This is what happens. There we go. This is what happens when you get somebody with this wealth of information, and we're going through the tour, but we're interested now in all these other things that popped up.
Right.
The 67, the 6 Day War, 1967. The paratroopers, did they actually jump, or were they deployed on the ground? And who was guarding the old city, and where did the Israelis deploy from?
First of all, one had to remember that the West Bank was not Palestine or Palestinian territory. It was a part of the Kingdom of Jordan. So we fought Jordanian soldiers. The legion, the Jordanian legion was there. They were in the old city. They were all over the West Bank, and especially in Jerusalem, it was a divided city. If anybody remembers the Berlin Wall, it was the same thing. The city of Jerusalem was divided in the middle by a wall, by no man's land, And it was actually scary for children to play because the Jordanians, from time to time, took shooting targets at anything that moved. So big walls were erected not to separate the city as much as to protect innocent people walking down the street and kids playing balls in the streets of Jerusalem. To answer your questions, we fought against Jordan. So really, Jordan should be the one that we should be negotiating now, and not the Palestinians, because they were never the owners of the land.
Oh, that's a
They never called themselves Palestinians. They called themselves Jordans. They had Jordanian ID cards. They had Jordanian money. They had Jordanian everything. So why are we dealing with Palestinians now? If you ask Palestinians 50, 60 years ago who you are, they would tell you we are Jordanians, but really we are Iraqis or Syrians or Egyptians, and you ask them, how come you became a part of the Jordanian? They said, well, we came here 150 years ago. Question is, why did they come? They came because the Jews came. The Jews came, they started to develop the land, and they provided work. That's how they got there. They were never there for thousands of years. Yes, there were a few people there. There were always a few people there. But the majority of the people migrated to Israel from the Arab lands when the Jews started to come to Israel in the turn of the 19th century.
Wow, that is fascinating. Yeah, that is fascinating. And what I want to show you now, as we dive into what we're doing at 43 minutes past 4 o'clock, we just made a decision. Can you bring this mic up a little more? Because I'm.
It's not.
Something's not right.
It's the headset.
Okay. What we are doing right now, 44 minutes past 4 o'clock. Today we're dedicated to telling you about President Obama's trip to Israel, because he's there right now meeting with, who's he meeting? Well, I got the schedule. I'll show you in a second. And we're talking about our trip that we're taking with Roni to Israel, September, October. We're comparing the two, but we're getting a little sidetracked, I gotta tell you, which is great. We're getting off into the kind of stuff that we'll discuss when we're there, I'm sure, in great detail, but we won't discuss looking at pictures on a monitor. We'll discuss standing next to the Western Wall, or standing next to, or going into Hebron. We're going to go into Hebron?
No.
Now, how come?
There's just not enough time.
Oh.
I would like to cover all the very, very important things.
Yeah. I know we got so many, but there is an extension on this trip too, to go to Jordan, right?
To Eilat and Aqaba and Petra.
Okay, so go down to the southern part of Israel, and then go up to over to Jordan. But let me show you this, Ron. Where is it? There it is, right here. I might come to my screen, please. No, not that. Get rid of that.
F1. There we go. What is that screen?
Okay. All right, here's my screen. President Obama's Middle East trip. This is right now. This is all real time. And he met with President Perez of Israel. Roni, give us 30 seconds on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as an administrative office, the Prime Minister, and President Shimon Peres, the President's office. Here in the United States, the President's the big poobah. How's it work in Israel?
Well, Prime Minister in Israel, very much like a system in England, where the Prime Minister is the one running the country, but the Queen has a lot of interesting tasks to do, like going to funerals and having parties. So it's a very ceremonial job or position, and the President of Israel is really ceremoniously leading the country. However, because of who Perez is, he's taking a lot of interest in politics as well. And he's recognized as one of the politicians in Israel that has a lot of experience. So many take his advice very carefully. Even Obama made a mention to it today that he came to talk to Perez, the president, because he wanted to know who the new government of Israel is. There was a new government elected in Israel just recently, And in fact, just 2 days ago, they sworn into Knesset. It is very interesting that Perez was once a prime minister himself, has been around the block many times, and he's a very well-regarded man in Israel. But yes, it is a ceremonial position, and the government run by, at the moment, by Bibi Netanyahu is the one calling the shots.
All right, now you have been in growing up in Israel, fighting for Israel, leading tours for 30 years in Israel. You know the geography fairly well?
Very well.
Okay. Well, watch that monitor right there. And it's 48 minutes past 4 o'clock. Tom Trento, TrentoVision, if you're listening on WNN 1470 in your car, we're going to describe. We have Roni Wexler here. He heads up Heritage Study Tours. We are going on, we, the United West, TrentoVision, on a tour with Ron in September, October. Frank Gaffney, William Federer, Bill Murray, and we'll show you some others. And this show today is to get everybody excited, to figure out how to raise the money you need to raise to come on this trip with us. We got room for maybe 40 or 50 more people. It's filling up pretty quickly. It's not going to be a gigantic group. What's maybe 80, 100 people, something like that. Yeah, very manageable group, 2 buses, first class stuff. But we're getting into some details of Israel, and we want to show Roni the White House's geography lesson. This is a White House video. You can see previewing the president's trip to Israel, the West Bank, and Jordan. I'm going to show you, and the person speaking, we don't even have to hear it, it's not important, Ben Rhodes. But here we go in and this is the president's trip. And I want to show you the beginning of his new term to meet the new leaders of Israel. Ben Rhodes is speaking. He's going to come back to the map. We've been showing this map a few times, Ron. He's going to come back to it, and we're going to see Israel. And there's Israel. President will have meetings with both.
Zoom in on it.
That
Tom.
is beautiful.
Control plus that for us.
Yeah.
Would you, Tom?
Okay. I froze it. I don't. It won't go because it's a video. But Ron can see it. Do you see Israel there?
Well, I can see it very well, and
well, hang on. What is this thing right here? Look on my screen. Over here on my screen. You can't see it over there. WhiteHouse.gov. This is the White House's video put out by the White House about the president's trip to Israel. Now, tell us what you see.
What I see is that Israel already been cut off from the West Bank and Golan Heights. And it's a little bit premature to look at maps like that.
So that's the map overlaid of Mark Langfan overlaid the black area on top of what the 67 border map is. Mark Langfan's black area on the map overlaid over what Obama's map is. It's actually bigger. You see the Obama black area is what is overlaid the 67 border map there.
Let me ask you something. I can't see very well, but the black and white map, is this what you're talking about?
Yes. Yes.
So the West Bank, Samaria and Judea is far bigger than 67 war, pre-67 war.
The great area, the big chunk that's out of the middle is they just took out Texas.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you so much.
Are you saying that this is in the West, in the White House?
Yes, this is the White House's official map. Go back to that for a second. Go back to my screen.
That one, Tom.
That's.
This is the White House's, look, right here, look, whitehouse.gov.
Yeah, I see now.
This is the White House's video they put out the other day.
Yeah, the gray area is the Mediterranean Sea. The dark blue area is the
here, look at this
Israel.
Right look, you can see it better here.
And
and Mark Langfan,
switch back to
who is
camera 4,
who is the cartographer. Mark Langfan is the cartographer that works with us. He said that this represents Israel 1948-49 after the armistice. This is predates 67.
No, it precedes this. What you're seeing here now is the partition plan of the League of Nations before the Independence War in Israel.
That's what he's going back to.
That's not even 48.
When is this then?
This is the proposal by the League of Nations to partition Israel between Arab and Jews.
And what year was that?
That was
20s?
in 1947. It was submitted.
Yeah, because
And on
Gaza,
account of this, the 1948 war took place, and this never actually was a map. That was only a map in theory.
right.
Okay, let me ask you. What does that say right there?
Yeah, I see.
What does that mean? What does this thing mean?
I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
This. Let me show you where we got this.
No, this map was never really a map of Israel.
Go to my screen, Mike.
Yep.
I'm looking on. Go to my screen.
Yep.
And I'll scroll for the people there. There's the video right down the bottom, right in the center of your screen.
And look at the
Everybody
URL
watching.
on top.
I go to the top. This is the White House's website.
Oh, I see it. I see it.
This is what they put as for Israel. And the gentleman doing the presentation is Ben Rhodes, a Deputy National Security Advisor.
And he's giving the presentation, right?
And he wrote the President's speech, June 2009, Cairo speech.
No, I understand that.
Well, what's
but,
all the lovey-dovey stuff going on with Netanyahu and Obama?
But this map is out of context now because nobody talks about it.
It's a White House.
They just 3 days ago. 3 days ago, or was it less than a week ago? They released this.
And there's been, it's very interesting. We'll do this maybe tomorrow because we want to maximize the trip. We got to do this. Remind me. I want to read the comments on that video on the YouTube.
Right.
Unbelievable what people are saying about this.
Right.
So we'll do that tomorrow. That's
and also
fascinating.
go a little bit further, around 56 seconds, where he talks about Ramallah.
Yeah. All right, let me show you that real fast. Watch this. Come back, Mike, and then we'll take a break.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Now watch this. Watch when Ramallah. Watch when the West Bank pops up. Judea, Samaria. That's the Deputy Security Advisor speaking. And he goes, and we're going to go to this little place right here.
And you can actually put the captions on below. It says closed captions, Tom.
We're going to see the, well, it should be up any second. And we're
right at
here we go.
57.
Up.
Right
And
there.
we're going to go, that is a visit to Ramallah. He's calling that Ramallah. What is that?
It's a really big area.
It's a big West Bank.
I see. I think that should be approximately the entire West Bank.
Yeah.
They're visiting Ramallah. They've identified that as Ramallah.
That's almost the entire West Bank.
What is Ramallah? We got 30 seconds and we got to close this session.
Ramallah is a city close to Jerusalem, about 9 kilometers north of Jerusalem. That today is the administration of the Fatah movement and the government of Abu Mazen.
So that's the capital of the Palestinians on the West Bank side.
Well, they don't call it that. They
Yeah,
call
right.
Jerusalem capital.
Al-Quds.
Oh, good. All right, folks, we'll be back in a few minutes and we'll continue with Ron Wexler and this fascinating study of Israel. And we're going. We want you to come with us. People.
This is amazing.
Isn't that amazing? We've been going nuts over this.
We're live.
Yeah,
We're still
yeah,
live.
yeah. We've been going nuts over this.
And all of a sudden, one day, we wound up at Buchenwald. And it was something that was beyond my imagination, what they told me.
It appeared that most of the men and boys had died of starvation. They had not been executed. But the manner of death seemed unimportant. Murder had been done at Buchenwald. God alone knows how many men and boys have died there during the last 12 years. As I left that camp, a Frenchman who used to work for Havas in Paris came up to me and said, "You will write something about this, perhaps." And he added, "To write about this, you must have been here at least 2 years. And after that, you don't want to write anymore."
So you have been in Buchenwald, in a Nazi death camp, and you've seen that horror up close, that evil. What is your comparison between Munich in 1938, the appeasement that started this war, and a possible Munich situation in 2013 when President Obama goes to Israel to pressure Israel to give up land for peace?
I see a similarity, and I feel a similarity, in that a major power, the United States, and the European EU, are pushing Israel into doing something which is very similar to what happened when the Sudetenland was given to Hitler. In this situation, a major power, U.S., and the EU are trying to do exactly the same thing, and experience with the Palestinians indicates that they will do the same thing that Hitler did. As soon as they gobble up the land which are given to them peacefully, and they consolidate their position, they're going to start shooting missiles, just as they have shown that they are capable of doing and willing to do in their shooting of thousands of missiles from Gaza. After Gaza, how can anybody in a reasonable way arrive at a conclusion that they are going to just become peaceful?
Bill, what are the main reasons why you don't view the Arabs, the Palestinians, Fatah, PLO, Hamas as seriously interested in the peace process?
Their English and their Arabic do not coincide. If you hear the leaders talking in English, they sound like they're the greatest guys in the world. But if you hear the same thinking in Arabic, you really realize that they're not thinking of peace. They're thinking as they have thought from day one, to destroy Israel. Their TV programs, they continuously are talking about jihad, martyrdom, suicide bombing. They eulogize these terrorists instead of criticizing terrorists. When Dr. Goldstein went berserk in a mosque and killed many Muslims, Israelis and Jews throughout the world were in sorrow. When terrorists have committed mayhem, they are praised. They have streets named after them. They have squares named after them.
Bill, you've been through a lot in your life. What is your warning to America, to Israel, to the West?
My warning is that I don't want history to repeat itself. I could not believe that there were death camps specifically created to kill Jews and others. But I saw it with my own eyes, and I had to believe it. The facts were there. The evidence was clear. We are trying to do the same thing right now by trying to force Israel to return to what have turned out to be indefensible 1967 borders, with an entity that has stated unequivocally that they want to destroy Israel, and which on a daily basis on their TV programs eulogize terrorists and do this on a daily basis. They're telling us that it's great to murder and to commit mayhem right now. Why don't we believe it?
You gotta shut that video up. Hi, Tom Trento. I'm back, I think. Here we go. All right, welcome back, everybody. It's good to be jamming one of these things down your throat, Nature's Valley, whatever it is. We don't get a lot of time to eat around here. We're saving the world, but it's worth doing, that's for sure. It is 6 minutes past 5 o'clock. You're with Tom Trento, TrentoVision. CJ aged and had a one of those operations.
Yeah.
She had one of those operations.
Not there's anything wrong with that. There.
So yeah, not that there's anything wrong with changing your gender. CJ is on a mission. She's on a Seder mission. She is getting ready for all the stuff that.
Ron, you can't open that.
He's hungry. Put the camera on me. Kill his mic. I want to eat too. He gets to eat.
He's a guest.
He's a guest. Okay.
Very good.
Okay, there we go. It's good to be here 7 minutes after 5 o'clock. TrentoVision, WNN 1470. Ron Wexler, our special guest. Are you the founder of Heritage Study Tours? Founder, bon vivant, the head guy, 30 years. It's taken over 100,000 people. That's a lot of whining people. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's too this, it's too that. What do you do with the whining? I'll say Italian. Italian people whine a lot too. I know Jewish people do, but Italian people whine a lot. And, you know, when you got that whiny person on the tour, and every tour has one, Ron, you know, it's too hot, it's too cold. I don't want to go there. Why are we going there? I want to eat here. I didn't like the food. I don't like that. What do you do with that person, Ron?
Well, there's always somebody who's giving us probably a little bit more trouble than others.
The bus seems to leave a little early, right?
But really, we take care of things. We come, we flex a muscle here and there.
Okay, that's good. That's a good way of doing it.
No, truthfully, it works very well. People are overwhelmed. They come to Israel. This is not a regular tour. It's not like going to South America or South Africa. It's not like going on a safari. You're really overwhelmed. You really don't want to mess up with what's going on. There's so much you're taking in. There's so much to learn. There's so much to experience. People are really behaving. People come to Israel at awe. They come, they said, we can't believe it. You know, we had such different ideas about Israel. We thought Israel is this, that, and the other. We come here, we see nothing that we envisioned. And the truth of the matter is that when you see CNN, ABC, CBS, all the rest of them, you get a distorted idea about Israel. You feel that Israel is a place that is not very pleasant to be in. You don't see the beauty of Israel. You see only the problems of Israel. Sure, every place has a problem from time to time. Middle East is not a nice neighborhood, and from time to time we hear about it. But Israel is beautiful. Israel is super modern. Israel is super clean. There's so much to do. We talked before, an hour ago probably, about Tel Aviv. It's a city that never goes to sleep. Imagine New York, but much cleaner. And that would be Tel Aviv.
And on the Mediterranean
and
Sea,
put a beach to it, a sandy beach to it, and a blue water, and that stretches forever. You see, the longest border in Israel is with the Mediterranean, actually, and from the very, very top of Israel, from the very northern part of Israel all the way to the south, there are sandy beaches. And in Tel Aviv, we have a boardwalk that's about 11 kilometers, which is like 7 miles. Wow. And it starts in a place called Herzliya in the north of Tel Aviv, and it ends up in Bat Yam, which is south of Jaffa. So all these cities, all these municipalities are actually connected to each other with this boardwalk. And on it, there are restaurants, there are clubs, there are bars, there are shops, there are boutiques, there everything. In Tel Aviv, there used to be a port, an old port, a shallow water port. Was really built in 1936 in order to bring cement to Israel. This port is not working as a port for many, many years. So somebody had an ingenious idea about 20 years ago to turn the whole port into a center of entertainment. So there are restaurants, there are clubs, there are boutiques.
Oh, we didn't see that.
It's an incredible place. I happen to live about 5 minutes from there, so I don't even need a car to go to the port. When you go to Tel Aviv and you ask somebody, where can I go to have fun tonight? They say, go to the port. And it sounds a little bit crazy. Well, why would I go to the port? Because the port is the most beautiful place today, and it's a non-stop action. It's a beautiful, beautiful place on the beach. So Israel is unique. Israel is different. Israel is clean. Israel is amazing. People ask me about security sometimes. It's the most secure place in the world. If you want to come to the tour and you say to yourself, you know, I see the television, it's not the most secure place in the world, believe me, you're wrong. It is. Israel is secure. I'll tell you another story. People in the United States tell me that many, many years ago, it was different to live in the United States. Kids used to go out to play by themselves. People weren't worried about pedophiles. People didn't worry about people kidnapping people. It was a different world, they used to tell me. Well, let me tell you something. Israel is not perfect, but Israel, in their communities, they still have those parks where kids go by themselves to play. Mothers actually send them out without any supervision, knowing that they're safe. So where else in the world can you say that mothers would be so uncareful to send the children without any supervision? No, they're not uncareful. They're very careful. They know that Israel is safe and nothing is going to happen. And we take turns supervising each other too. You see a kid in the street walking and asking a perfect stranger to pass him to the other side of the street. Why? Because the mother says, don't cross the street without adults. So they'll go to an adult and say, help me. So people help each other. It's a unique country. It's a very unusual country. And unfortunately, most tourists that go to Israel do not mingle with the locals. We do. We go and we mingle with the locals. We get to talk to the locals. We go to army camps. We talk to the soldiers. It's a great place. It's a great place. And you learn about Israel like no other trip that ever goes to Israel. And I invite you. I invite you to come with me, with Tom. There'll be a whole group from this station, and they will be joining the groups that come from other places, with Frank Gaffney and with Bill Murray and with Bill Federer. We'll have a great time in Israel. I invite you. You should come.
Absolutely. You sound like a tour director. Man, you know, it sounds great. I want to go now. Go to my screen, Mike, and we're going to compare the president's trip with our trip, okay, Ronnie? On Wednesday of this week, the 20th, yesterday, President arrived in Tel Aviv. We're going to Tel Aviv. And from there, he viewed the Iron Dome. I could maybe make that a little bigger. One of the Iron Dome installations that's set up. He later went to Jerusalem. Now, how far is it from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem?
Well, it depends. If you go with President Obama, it's a couple minutes. Yeah. It's about 45 minutes by car when you don't go on rush hour.
All right, and that's what, A5 or something? What's the number of the street?
It's highway number 1.
Oh, number 1. Okay, highway number 1. And then later on, after he went from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, President Obama went up to President Netanyahu. Oh, okay, I thought that was went to meet with President Netanyahu in Jerusalem. So they stayed in Jerusalem. Now today, Thursday, the president went to the Israeli museum where the Dead Sea Scrolls are. Now, where is that museum?
This is right in front of the Knesset, which is the Israeli parliament. We will be there. It is a fascinating place. One of the things that we're going to see there is an amazing entire city of Jerusalem scaled model, as in the days of King Herod. So any Christians among the viewers now or listeners who's interested to know what was the city in the time of Christ or time of King David even, and King Solomon, this is a magnificent site. It's unbelievable. It's built to scale, and we can watch it, and we have guides that will guide us through the model scale, and we'll understand better the topography of the city of Jerusalem.
Oh, that is going to be cool. That's like going to Legoland at Disney or something.
Exactly, but what you see is really what Jerusalem was in the time of the Bible. Now, the other thing that we're going to see in the museum where Obama was, and he actually was taken to those very places to see, are the Dead Sea Scrolls.
I want to see those.
Right.
I definitely
now,
want to see those.
Can you imagine, my friends, that I can read them, meaning that ancient Hebrew is possible to be read by Israelis because we understand the language. Well, it's a bit different than modern Hebrew, but we can still read it. The Dead Sea Scrolls were written by the Essenes, people that didn't feel very good about what's going on politically in Jerusalem, and settled at the Dead Sea. They had a different theology. They had a better understanding of what the Messianic era was supposed to be for them, and they lived there in solitude. The place is called Qumran on the Dead Sea Scroll, on the Dead Sea, and they wrote the scrolls. What are the scrolls? Some of them are literally the Bible, Bible. The other part of the scrolls are books that were not brought in and canonized as a part of the Bible, but they are just as important as the Bible because they talk about the same issues. The other set of books that we found were actually books about themselves, their idea about the Messianic era, and the temple itself. It is amazing. This whole story about the Dead Sea Scrolls is amazing because it authenticates the Bible, actually, because these people lived at the time of the story. And we found the scroll. Actually, I shouldn't say we found the scroll. The whole thing started as an accident. A young Muslim shepherd, Arab shepherd, found the scrolls, found part of the scrolls. He lost one of the sheep. He went after it, and lo and behold, found something that looked a little bit of interest to him. There was some writing on it. So he lived in a village very close to the city near the Dead Sea, and he went to one of the Arab merchants there and said to the man, "Look what I found." That city, of course, was Jericho. And the Arab merchant looked at it and realized right away that he has something very, very valuable. He asked the kid, "Where did you find it?" And he said the kid was a little bit smart too, and he said, "Well, I'm not going to tell you, but give me some money for it." So he gave him a few pennies, for a little bit, so like parts, a little less than 2 inches of scribblings. The kid went back, found complete scrolls. He himself started to cut them to pieces because he figured he'll get more money by selling it by the piece. This was at the time when Israel did not have the area of the sea of the Dead Sea. We got that part of the land in 1967. So until that point, the entire scroll or the entire scrolls were in the hands of these Arab merchants who started to sell them to different other groups that were interested in them. Most of them were kept in the Rockefeller Museum in the old city of Jerusalem. In 1967, when Israel took Jerusalem, we found out the Dead Sea Scrolls sitting there, doing nothing, and hardly anybody really took charge in putting them together and really give the first look into the biblical times.
Oh, you're kidding me. I didn't know that.
So at that time, Israel took the scrolls and sent them to every university in the world because it took millions of hours collectively to actually match things together and to investigate and to do the right thing. So Israel, there's something to say about Israel. We don't keep things to ourselves and claim we have it, we have the old truth, nothing but the truth, we keep it, in our possession. We actually gave it to everybody because only with everybody involved we could have come up with the final material, which is known today and is being displayed in the museum which we are going to visit. The only book that stayed intact, almost amazingly, is the book of Isaiah. And if you know the book of Isaiah, you might ask yourself the question, why? And the book of Isaiah, of course, is talking about the fate of Jerusalem and about the years to come, and the
Messiah,
the prophecies there are just unbelievable. So those are the two places, the model of the city of Jerusalem and the Dead Sea Scrolls. We are going to have a study program in Israel second to none. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to see many places. We are going to mingle with Israelis. We're going to listen to a member of Knesset talking to us. We are invited into the Knesset. We are invited into the absorption.
The Knesset's like our Congress, going to our Congress.
It's like the Congress. We perhaps even going to be sitting in a committee and listening to how things are being done. And we're going to go to another fascinating place, which is an absorption center of newcomers to Israel, and those newcomers to Israel are from Ethiopia. They are black Jews coming from Ethiopia, and we're going to see how they become a part of the Israeli society. And these people are really coming from nowhere. They sometimes don't know even that the toilet is inexistent. We need to teach them the basics of civilization in order to get them part of the society. And lo and behold, when they finish this program in Israel, they know how to write checks and pay rent and go to the supermarket and drive a car and get a license and everything else. This is amazing. This is truly a miracle.
They should have something like that here for immigrants.
Yeah, that would be good. And the Dead Sea Scrolls, I think they date from like 400 BC to 100 AD,
Yes.
Common Era. So it's about over a 500-year period.
Right.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. It, you know, I've seen it and I've done it and I've done work on it. I have a PhD in theology. I've done so much work, but whenever I talk about it, I get goosebumps.
Oh, no, you fire up. All right, so we're going to go see the Dead Sea Scrolls just like the president did today. And then the president went today also to Ramallah, which we spoke about earlier on the West Bank. Did Netanyahu travel with him to Ramallah?
No.
No. Could he go to Ramallah?
Yes.
Netanyahu could?
Well, Netanyahu can go to Ramallah by invitation.
Has he ever been there?
Netanyahu can go anywhere he wants, practically. But we don't want to go to places we're not welcome.
Yeah.
The idea is, yes, Israelis do go to Ramallah. Let me tell you something.
The shoes would be flying if Netanyahu went.
You know, if you ask me if the Palestinians want two-state solutions, I can give you a definite answer. I believe that many do. I also believe that many don't. Palestinians are very happy to be in the status quo that exists today. I mean, there are hardships, but there are hardships in Israel too, and there are hardships in the United States of America. So it's not contained to the Middle East, and the people that have financial problems are not necessarily only the Palestinians. Everybody has problems, but many cope and many do very well. And in the Palestinian areas, it's the same thing. There are people among the Palestinians in the West Bank that are doing extremely well, and they're dealing on a daily basis with Israel. Remember, my friends, those who listen to me now, the West Bank has got nothing there to trade and nobody to trade with the exception of Israel. I'll even make it more critically understood. Gaza is not dealing with anybody, and they have nobody to trade with, only with Israel. So when you hear about rockets landing in Israel from time to time, and you hear about problems, at the same time, all this is taking place, the food supply, and the electricity, and the gasoline, and everything that you need for daily life is still coming from Israel to the Gaza and to the West Bank. So go figure.
Well, that's one of the things, Mike. That's one of the things that. That's one of the reasons why you need to come on this trip. It's not a vacation per se, though it will be very relaxing. And these things, I mean, you gotta get up early in the morning, and 10 o'clock at night you'll be having a glass of wine and going, "What a day this was!" But to understand the geopolitical craziness of the world, like you're explaining right now, the various detail, if that's something you're interested in, and most of the people that follow what we do and involved with us want to know what's going on, want to dig down a little more deeply. Yeah, Mark.
Yeah, not only do you learn on the land level, you learn on the personal, the human level. You get to meet the people, you get to understand who they are, why they are doing, and their mindsets. When you go out to the public and you start talking to the people, you find out their attitudes. That why do you accept this? Why is your mindset this way? Because it's really a culture shift, not only in learning the areas, but learning who the people are and understanding what their attitude is. I think that's even more valuable. And one of the greatest things I learned, Ronnie, when I was there last time was how diverse that culture is. I mean, it is one of the most diverse cultures in the world. I mean, it's like going from New Jersey to New York to Texas in a span of like 3 miles. I mean, you literally have all these cultures crammed in on top of each other in the size of the state of New Jersey. It's like taking California, Texas, San Francisco, and everything and shoving them into the state of New Jersey. That's how diverse that culture is. So that's the reason there's such a melting pot and can't we just all get along attitude. Am I correct on that?
Absolutely, and the reason for it, of course, Jews come from all over the world. When Jews started to migrate back to Israel, when Israel was established, they came from everywhere. They came from the Arab lands, from North Africa, from Asia, from United States, from South America, from any place in Europe. So they brought with them not only customs and culture, but also cuisine. So you come to Israel and you eat all kinds of things, and you say to yourself, wow, you know, I couldn't believe that I can have Mexican Jewish food in Israel. Well, it's not exactly like the Mexican food that you have in the United States or Mexico. It's different. It's Jewish style. So you have all that, and the food in Israel, my friends, is great.
Oh, it's
fabulous. So every day you can have something else, and you'll enjoy every moment. And the fruits and vegetables in Israel, this is another Bible prophecy. You know, the Bible said that God will turn...
Falafel's a Bible prophecy?
Yes.
Right. That swamps will turn into gardens.
There you go.
And the desert will bloom. Well, the desert...
Falafels will come out.
The desert is blooming. And we have the best fruits and vegetables the world ever seen. My friends, Holland receives flowers from Israel. Go figure.
Right.
You know, you have situations that are almost unexplainable. And the only way to see it is to see it when you come on a tour like this. Because any other tour doesn't pay attention to those little things that we are so amazed and I'm so proud of. So we go to show you where it's coming from. People says to me sometime on a tour, we don't see too many walkers. How come everything is growing? So the joke is, you know, we have little midgets come at night and they all walk, and in the morning they all go to sleep. But the truth of the matter is the technology in Israel doesn't require too many people. So the fields is being managed by computers. Livestock is being managed by computers.
Right.
A million chickens are being managed by one man looking at the computer screen. So all this is there. I think President Obama said today actually talked a little bit about the technology of Israel, and he mentioned different things that happen in Israel. It's true. About 20 people from Israel, this little tiny country, received Nobel Prize for different inventions. Right. So when you go to Israel, you actually see that. You know, so the kids in Israel don't go to walk in the street, and they don't go to the field, but every kid at home becomes a miniature Einstein. You know, they try to rediscover something, and lo and behold, they do. There is Silicon Valley in Israel in every major city, and every American big company has a research office and division in Israel. And I'd like to show you all that.
And
all right, we're going to see. We got to move on. We got to move on.
Real quick, just to highlight what Ronnie is saying, is if you buy generic drugs at Walmart, chances are your generic drugs come from Teva,
right?
Which supplies the majority of that. And also, on the converse, if you look across the border over at Gaza, it's a cruddy place to live. Yet you look at the resources that are around there, and it actually could be a beautiful place if they just put some time and effort into the economy and versus just making bombs. And it's very frustrating. Me looking, it's just build like Israel's doing. Why don't you guys do that?
It's a matter of culture. You know, we actually controlled Gaza until a certain point, and then we moved out. So when we were in Gaza, there were a few Israeli, as they call them, settlements. They were beautiful. They were rodeo drives. You know, they were the most beautiful places. And then Israel moved unilaterally, decided to let go, pulled out. And Israelis were actually pulled out by Israel, pulled out of their homes. And the homes were given to the Palestinians. So you'd think that the Palestinians would put their people in beautiful homes. No, they were all destroyed.
They bulldozed them.
What'd they do with the greenhouses?
They're all destroyed. They were all destroyed.
What did they do with the synagogues?
Well, that was set on fire, but
Oh well, yeah, you know.
But
What if?
All right, well, that's all
I
the political stuff, and that's fascinating stuff, and that's a lot of what we do here. Go through that, but I want to get through for our friends that are considering coming on this trip. I want to get through a little bit of the comparison of Obama to what we're going to be doing. He then spoke this afternoon at the Jerusalem Convention Center. We watched the whole speech here. Fascinating. It was a fascinating speech, and he said everything right. I mean, he sounded like he could have been Ronald Reagan or George Bush. Affirming the relationship. Then he made the segue to the necessity for two states, and that's where he got off on psychology instead of philosophy, and talked about little children and all
Little
of
children
this,
don't
and-
have a chance to grow up
Yeah.
in school because if they had a state, they could actually grow up in school. Like, what kid ever?
So, but I mean, he's very good at what he does. He did that there. That was the Jerusalem Convention Center, which
Ben Rhodes is very good.
yeah, a bunch of leftist Jewish university students. Tonight, he'll be in. Looks like he's in Jerusalem again, and he's getting the Presidential Medal of Distinction
Oh, he deserves it.
by President Perez.
Yeah, congratulations for all the work you've done for Israel.
So
Not.
tomorrow they're going to lay a wreath at Mount Herzl, at the grave sites of Theodore Herzl and Yitzhak Rabin. Where's Mount Herzl in relationship to Israel?
actually, we are going to visit it as well. It's the national graveyard of Israel, and it's the army main cemetery. It's the Arlington of Israel.
Okay, and how far from the old city?
It's very close to our hotel, by the way, and it's adjacent to Yad Vashem.
Okay.
So we're visiting Yad Vashem as well.
Well, there he is. Tomorrow, late morning, President Obama will visit Yad Vashem and place a wreath in the Hall of Remembrance.
So would we. On
And
behalf-
Yad Vashem is what, Tom?
we would lay a wreath as well, and we are going to have a moment of silence in Yad Vashem in memory of
What
the
is
six-
Yad Vashem?
It's at Har Herzl. It's the same place where Obama visited today, I think.
Tomorrow.
And we're going to visit it on our tour. It's actually going to be the last day of our tour in Israel.
Right.
And it leaves a lasting memory.
What's I mean, is that where the?
Mount Herzl is the Arlington of Israel.
Okay.
It's the army cemetery, and the great people of the nation. Herzl was the visionary who envisioned the state of Israel for the Jews in the turn of the century, the 18th century to the 19th century. He was the originator of the Zionist Convention, and the first one was in 1895.
Right.
And he was he was actually fascinated by the trial of Dreyfus in France, where a Jew serving as an officer in the French army was accused as blood libel. And the whole thing was false. Herzl never considered himself much of as a Jew, but he was taken by the Dreyfus trial, and his entire life changed, and he started to be an activist. And part of what he was doing was raising also money to buy land from the Ottoman Empire, which is the Turkish rule that ruled the entire area, and parts of Israel were bought then from the Ottoman Empire.
Wow. Now, Yad Vashem is the Holocaust Museum, but what does Yad Vashem mean?
Yad Vashem literally translates to hand. Yad is hand. Shem is name. So it's giving a hand to the name that's no longer there, that died, that disappeared.
And you can actually spend a week inside the actual Holocaust memorial.
Right.
Right.
Now Yad became synonymous also to monument. So Yad is a hand. So you're giving a hand to a name, but Yad by itself is also a monument. So it's a monument to those who perished.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we were there for a few hours.
Yeah, not enough time. It's never enough time to go to those places.
No. All right, so that's the president's going there tomorrow. Then tomorrow afternoon at 5:36 right now, we're with Ron Wexler. For those of you just tuning in, WNN 1470, we're discussing President Obama's trip in Israel right now. where he's going, and we're comparing it to where we're going to go last week in September, first week in October of this year, and we're laying all this out so you folks can contact me, Tom at TrentoVision.tv, my name at TrentoVision.tv. Let me know if you're interested in going. I'll send you the information, the website to look in a detailed fashion at it. But tomorrow, after he leaves Yad Vashem, the president is going to Bethlehem, where he'll tour the Church of the Nativity. That's a Christian town, isn't it?
Well, it's supposed to be a Christian town. It's no longer a Christian town. There are a remnant of Christians still living there. But again, very few people in the West know that Christians were actually moved out of the West Bank, and they're not very welcome there.
Why is that?
Why is that? It's a good question. Why is that? They weren't comfortable.
Did the Jews kick them out?
No, the Muslims kicked them out. The Palestinian Muslims felt that the Christians were undesirable. So they made their lives a bit of hell, and many of them just left.
Isn't that where the jihadis took refuge in a couple of 4 or 5 years back?
Yes, indeed. Yes.
What was that battle all about?
Well, a good place for jihadists to run away to from bullets and everything is a holy place, because Israel is not shooting at holy places. They were killers. They found refuge in the old building there, and the end result was that there was a negotiation to give them a way out and not to show their face again.
And they desecrated the church.
But they escaped. They escaped punishment.
All right. Then after visiting the Church of Nativity, what is he going to do there? But that's the political stuff we'll deal with tomorrow. After visiting Church of the Nativity tomorrow, the president will go to Amman, Jordan. Now, how far is Jordan from Bethlehem? Amman, Jordan from Bethlehem.
Well, there's a road from Jerusalem, not from Bethlehem, to the
Bethlehem's right next to Jerusalem, though.
Yeah, to the bridge over the Jordan River that takes you to Jordan. It's about 25 minutes to the Jordan River from Jerusalem, and it would be about 45 minutes from that point to Amman.
That's ridiculous. That's that's small. Amazing. Yeah, that's just everything's right there, you know. So that's not a big walk.
That's like going from here to Miami.
Yeah.
It's less than that.
So if all the Palestinians had to go back to Jordan, that's not that big of a deal.
Listen, 3-state solution.
There you go.
Israel, Jordan, Egypt.
Yep. President Obama will have a bilateral meeting with King Abdullah II, who's about to be dethroned by the Muslim Brotherhood of Jordan, followed by a press conference and the evening dinner with King Abdullah. Now, we're going to go to Jordan on the extended part. On Saturday, guess what? He's following your tour. President Obama will travel to Petra on Saturday, and then he begins his journey back home. All right, now Amman is up here. You can see that.
Right.
Go to my screen, Mike. This is President Obama's designated trip right here. There you go. Tel Aviv, number 1, Jerusalem, number 2, Ramallah, Bethlehem, number 3, Amman, number 4, right next to, not far at all from Bethlehem, and then Petra. What's the historical significance, and why are we going to Petra on the extended part of this tour?
Petra is antiquity. Petra was built by people who controlled the main highways of the known world at the time. You see, why Israel was so important? Why so many wars waged on Israel? Israel is the converging place of the 4 main highways of the world. One of them was Via Maris, the way of the sea, which is along the Mediterranean. The other one was the Silk Road, which was from the Mediterranean all the way to what's today is China. The other one was the King's Road, which was along the Jordan River and all the way from the Turkish part of what we known today as Asia Minor. And the last one was the Hejaz. The Hejaz is where actually Muhammad came from. The Hejaz was a road from the Mediterranean all the way to the tip of the Arabian Peninsula, and that was the way to go to India by boat.
Very cool.
So there were fortresses and fortified places built along those ways. One of them is Petra. The beauty of Petra is that the entire city was carved into the rock. So you're walking, you're walking into a rock.
Petra means rock, doesn't it? Petra, yeah.
So you go into a rock. One of the movies, Indiana Jones.
What?
One of the movies of Indiana Jones, if you remember, was in Petra, and where the moving sword that was Petra. It's very, very beautiful place to visit.
All right, well, go to my screen, Mike, and we're going to show you exactly where we're going to visit. This is Tom Trento, TrentoVision. I'm here with Ron Wexler, the founder and coordinator and top guy for Heritage Study Tours. We're putting a tour together, Frank Gaffney, Bill Federer, Bill Murray, myself and others, for leaving Monday, September 30th. You can see it on my screen right here. First night, overnight flight to Israel. Typically you do that going to the east. You sleep, you wake up refreshed, and there's a few shots of Israel. That's on Monday. Tuesday, October 1st. So we're leaving on September 30th. Start getting your passports in order. What's the weather going to be like, Ronnie? Give us the highs and lows. No, not excellent. Highs and lows.
We couldn't go in a better time. I believe that the average at that time is 30 centigrade, which is in Fahrenheit about 76.
76 during the day. And
during the day, and it will drop to about 66, 67 during the night.
And how's the humidity?
So it's perfect. And there's no humidity at that time of the year because the wind come from the east and not from the sea. So it's an excellent time to go. It's really perfect. This is the Tel Aviv area, and all the way from Tel Aviv we will go actually to the Carmel Mountains, and we would spend time in Haifa. But on the way there, we also go to Ariel.
Jaffa?
Tel Aviv, Jaffa is one city today.
Okay. Did you say no? Haifa is another city.
Haifa is another city.
Yeah.
On the way to Haifa, we're also going to visit Ariel. Ariel is in the West Bank.
Well, I want to go through the days. Monday we arrive. Tuesday we arrive at Ben Gurion. We go to the hotel in Tel Aviv. Nice hotel.
Beautiful hotel.
That's important for people. Yeah. Is it how beautiful? Is it like, ritzy, or what is it like?
It would be like a very good Sheraton hotel on the beach. We are on the beach.
Oh, we're on the beach.
We are on the beach.
Oh, that's even better.
So everything I described a bit earlier in the show, those who didn't hear me, we are on the boardwalk that goes about 17 kilometers.
Right.
And everything is around.
All right, so we're in Tel Aviv for the day, right? Mm-hmm. So what are we gonna do?
We have an orientation as we come. We're going to see all our tour leader. We're going to get oriented with what the next few days will be. We'll meet each other. We'll get the introductions, and then we go on the buses and we go to Ariel.
Okay, on the Tuesday, the first day we're there. Okay,
right.
And on Wednesday, on the 2nd, we have breakfast. Then we're with Bill Federer, you. Let's see, there's Ariel. Our presentation, Ariel, will focus on the security and defense of this stronghold in the West Bank. We'll hear about the security issues of the local Christians and Palestinians living there. Next stop, 2,000-year-old theater in ancient Caesarea.
Caesarea was the capital city of the Roman Empire in the area.
Yes, of course. Oh, we'll visit the Roman amphitheater. So we're going to learn, well, the Romans obviously was the Holy Roman Empire. And they went and conquered Israel, set up governors there. It wasn't too far from Italy through the boat. And I guess the rich Italians vacationed in Israel. That's what it looks like here. When they built a big city, a big area, right? Why'd they build an amphitheater? What was that all about?
It's well, the Romans were known for amphitheaters. The
Yeah,
Colosseum is
yeah,
a
they're
big
having
one.
fun, you know,
Right.
sure.
But you know, the interesting part is that this amphitheater is still in existence today, and we're still performing there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The acoustic is unbelievable.
Well, yeah. Italian people know how to build things. Let me tell you. Picturesque panoramic view of the Gulf from Haifa, Mount Carmel. Oh, we're going to go up to Mount Carmel where Baal's priests were, overlooking the valley of Jezreel. And the plain of Armageddon. We're going to Armageddon?
We're going to see the Valley of
Yay.
Armageddon, and we're going to see a beautiful strip in the middle of it, which is one of the Israeli Air Force bases. And if we're lucky, we're going to see a bunch of F-16 flying overhead.
Taking off, really?
We never miss that.
So we're going to the Valley of Armageddon. How big is it?
It's huge. It's huge.
There'll be a big battle there someday, you know. I hope not when we're there. Thursday, October 3rd, Galilee. Sea of Galilee. Here was the ministry of Jesus. We'll visit the places mentioned in the Gospels. Oh, I didn't know this. Starting with a boat ride across the Sea of Galilee. That's a pretty big sea.
That's beautiful.
We're
Yeah.
going across the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be cool. I want to go now. We'll board in Tiberias, disembark in North Gennesaret.
Gennesaret.
Oh, Gennesaret, okay. We'll visit the primacy of Peter. So a lot of stuff for Christians here. Visit the Mount of the Beatitudes where Christ gave the Sermon on the Mount. That's where he gave the Sermon on the Mount.
Right.
Not the Temple Mount.
No.
Right. On the hill where Jesus preached overlooking the Sea of Galilee. And we'll visit the Golan Heights. If you ever heard about the controversy and contention over the Golan, they were captured. How did that become part of Israel? And do the Syrians want it back? What's that all about? Give us a quick 1-minute lesson on that.
Well, in '67 war, part of the situation in the Middle East was that Egypt and Syria became under control of Abdul Nasser. He was the president of Egypt, and the army of Syria and the army of Egypt were actually under his control. He was the chief of staff. Syria and Egypt had a plan to attack Israel at the same time, but prior to that, and one of the provoking situations was that the water that bring water to the Jordan River were going to be diverted by Syria, so in order to dry up Israel.
Okay.
The entire water system of Israel is built from the water that comes from the Jordan River to the Sea of Galilee, and they were diverting the water. We could not allow this to happen.
Right. And
So the 6 days war actually lasted 5 days, and the last day, a lot of the troops were diverted from the south and from the center, and moved into the north, and in a few hours, the entire Golan Heights was taken. Now, when you go there and you see it, and you see that you have to climb up a pretty steep rock, and people from above shooting down,
That's
and
tough
you are the
stuff.
one climbing up,
that's tough stuff.
that's nothing short of a miracle.
Yep. Well, this whole thing's a miracle. All right, Mike, go to my screen. Day 3, Thursday, October 3rd. Mark your calendars. Save your money. Come with us to Israel. We're at the Sea of Galilee. We're going to leave. And all through this, folks, there is teaching in the field. And Bill Federer will be speaking some of the historical stuff. A lot of times these trips, and maybe some of you have gone, particularly the Christians, they'll go with a minister. Every Protestant minister wants to go to Israel, and a lot of them do. They take trips.
They do.
Yeah, and they go once or twice a year, and they go to these biblical places. But they were born here, and they learn stuff, and those trips are okay. I mean, there's this value. If you go to Israel, you go to Israel. It's great. But to go with a guy that was born there, lives here, and can bring the Christian theology and the Jewish theology with these kind of experts, I really don't know if it gets any better than that. The only question I would have is whether or not 100 people is too many people to get a lot done.
No, it's not. We excuse me. we use the bus only to get to places, and then we come together and we sit together. So it's not at all. We used to have groups of 300 and 400. That's a little bit too many. But this is a perfect size group. We get everything we want to get from this trip. We get to meet a lot of people. Everybody has something to share. It's incredible. One of the things that you mentioned before also about Jews and Christians come together, one of the nice things that I wanted to mention about the trip is also we actually worship together. Because on a Friday night, I'm going to host everybody for a Shabbat meal. So before we go to the Shabbat meal, we will go to the place you mentioned before, the Western Wall. And there you will see something that is hard to believe it could be in existence. You see thousands and thousands of people, especially young Israelis, come, among them many soldiers with machine guns on their shoulders, and they all come and they dance. They praise God by dancing. So you see a very fervent service, spontaneous. And you see everybody singing and everybody dancing, and you see soldiers, circles of soldiers with machine guns hanging on their shoulders, holding each other's by the shoulders and just dance around and doing the horror. And it's just an incredible feeling. If anybody ever talked about the presence of God, the presence of the Holy Spirit, this is it. This is the place. There's no denial. And after this experience, I personally am inviting everybody for a Shabbat dinner where I'm going to do the traditional Shabbat service with the breaking of the bread and blessing over the wine and everything else. So we really get to feel the heart and soul of the nation.
And everyone needs to know, not only was Roni born in Israel, fought for the IDF, lives there now, lives here, but he studied and did his rabbinic training and then studied Christian theology. Right. So you know both sides of the equation. Go to my screen for a second, Mike, because I have some very bad news. The clock has caught up to us, and I'm only on day 3. I have Thursday to do, Friday to do, Saturday to do, Sunday to do, Monday to do, Tuesday to do, Wednesday to do, then the extension. So, Ron, we're going to have you back, I think. Would you come back?
My pleasure.
Okay, after Pesach.
After Passover, after Pesach.
After Passover, come back to us here. After Passover, we will have you back. And we got like 10 more days to go through. This is fascinating. I'm looking forward to the trip. Please, if there's any chance, ladies and gentlemen, not any chance, you got to want to go, and then you'll make the chance. Tom at TrentoVision.tv. Contact me. We'll get you all the information. Give it a shot. Anyway, you can at least start the machinery moving in that direction. We got some slick ways in which you can raise money from your friends and your family to make it on a once-of-a-lifetime trip. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for seeing all of you. Ronnie, I'll see you in Jerusalem, but I'll see you even before that. See you in a few days. Okay.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right.
Bye, NN. We're signing off. See you tomorrow. We'll be back. Bye-bye. Yeah, you can talk about this stuff all day long, man.
Yep.
And you got